You can do these shoots. Use your brain shoots. Use your big old brain mind onto a plate.
Oh, hey, Grognark, you're out of the closet again. Great. Can't you see? I'm opening my third eye. No, know why the Pope's got such a big head? Exactly! Xenomorph skull! It's too perfect. Deus Ex. Deus Ex? I don't want to fucking play Deus Ex. Listen, you can leave the closet as long as you don't bark orders at me in your strange piercing tones, you freak. Ah, Jesus, get off me!
Deus Ex is a seminal video game. Let me ask you a question. You ever play a game that offers you the choice of fighting, sneaking, or talking your way through missions? Ever play a game with lots of player choice, where you read through emails or books lying around that give flavor and context to the world? Or maybe even a code to a locked door? Ever play a game where you crawl through vents?
Carry on, Agent.
If yes, then you're probably already familiar with the core gameplay experience Deus Ex offers. And I mean that. This game spawned an entire genre in and of itself, dubbed the immersive sim. For perspective, this was released the same year as Banjo-Tooie. It wasn't the first game to let you shoot fuckers or sneak around. It wasn't the first to emphasize player choice in an open sandbox. But it was the first to put all these disparate design elements together in the first-person perspective. You may not realize it, but you've been playing Deus Ex games for the past 20 years. Games don't tend to make genres unless they're absolute bangers, Deus Ex being no exception. Deus Ex's greatest quality is its level design. These levels are densely packed with content. There can be 5 different ways to solve a problem catered to different play styles. You come across a laser tripwire and don't mind slashing boyos down with your lightsaber? Just trip it, who cares? Mow them down. Maybe you're more of a stealthy boy. Go ahead and use some multi-tools. You can bypass a security system. Let's say you're a greedy fuck and you don't want to spend the multi-tools. You can hack the security system. But what if you're retarded and can't even use a computer? Just throw an EMP grenade and dip. I love how this game handles player choice, mechanically and narratively. 5 different ways to enter a room are just that. 5 paths to the same place. Which is great, but when you apply gameplay resources to those decisions, the calculus gets a lot more interesting. You could use 3 multi-tools to get into a storage room, but if you're low on multi-tools, maybe you could find an alternate entrance that uses everyday caveman lockpicks. Some of my favorite gameplay moments are when I end up stacking boxes and loose furniture to hop over a security laser, rather than spending my precious few multi-tools to bypass it. It works on the same principles as Resident Evil, expending and conserving resources as they become abundant and scarce. It's even got inventory management. Narratively, choices aren't handled the way I thought they would. I always got the impression from what I saw at Deus Ex that it's one of them talking games. You know, the ones where you choose dialogue on a screen and the puppet man recites the words to your pleasure. But the narrative impact of the player is confined to the lives of a few main characters, and these are handled diegetically in gameplay. When you not go raise your brother's apartment and he tells you to get out through the window, don't worry about me. The game gives you one objective: get the fuck out of there. You don't have the option to say, I ain't leaving you, I'll help shank these dudes. Instead, it's entirely on you, the player, to stay behind and help shank some dudes. And Paul lives or dies based on your actions here. Really, the only time you'll interact with these dialogue choices are in your shady dealings for black market explosives from crack dealers in the Hobo Cities. This game's full of hobos.
But look at me, young sir. We're God's army, and what infernal devil can stop God's army? Found me 2 30-06 clips. Now all I need's a gun, and then it's me and Satan. Yes, Satan.
What do you want for them?
Well, guess I'd take about 300 for each one.
I'll take both of them for 600.
Praise heaven.
There's so many of them, they're forming underground colonies. You can't escape them. New York, Paris, Hong Kong, they're everywhere. They even look the same. They got a shanty town at the Statue of Liberty. There's a hobo sanctuary at the Catacombs of Paris. Seriously? We're all out of bridges to camp under. We're living in a dirt hole full of bones. Besides being information counts for JC to milk dry, all these homeless people give valuable context to the world. If you're like me and your first exposure to the series was Eidos Montreal's Human Revolution, you might expect there to be all this flashy technology everywhere, but it isn't. The art design at Deus Ex is surprisingly grounded, and it makes total sense. All the technology to build cities on top of each other and attach rocket launchers to your chest exist here, but the average dumbass on the street will never experience it, let alone see it. They're too busy getting the plague. Instead, it's all locked away in various underground black sites controlled by a variety of enigmatic individuals towards the goal of ultimate societal control. That's what the technology in Deus Ex really is. A tool to enforce a currency of power. The ruling class control the internet, the electricity. They patrol the streets with Gundams and super soldiers. For JC, they even control the heart-pumping blood in his veins. If, on the off chance, this is all sounding a bit too conspiratorial for you, then you'd best check out now. Because Deus Ex is all about conspiracies. I had a buddy in high school who said FEMA was gonna round us all up in camps one day and execute us, and I know damn sure he didn't play Deus Ex. Yeah, here's this concept brought to its logical conclusion. The scary part is it all kind of makes sense to me now. The game really nails the X-Files vibe. Underground military black sites, cloned aliens from Roswell who shoot lasers out of their head, the Illuminati. It's got everything you'd want. It doesn't take itself too seriously either. It's pretty entertaining, especially if you're predisposed to enjoying this kind of stuff.
Are you sure you pressed the right button?
I do not make mistakes of that kind.
Your hand might have slipped.
No, I wanted orange. It gave me lemon lime.
Speaking of stuff I'm predisposed to enjoy, the audio design is crispy. There's something about games from this era. Half-Life, Quake, Thief. Their sound is so appealing to me. Looking Glass Studio specifically has a storied history of quality sounding games, so this should come at no surprise. The voice acting is mostly good.
Mr. JC Denton, in the fresh.
But what's important is it delivers when it needs to. Bob Page's voice is timeless. I'm sure if you played this game, you can imagine his performance clearly in your mind, even if it has been 20 years.
You're too late. Already I'm more than human.
The music? Oh, it's just some of the best shit I ever heard. Top 3 soundtracks of any video game I've played easily. I feel like this shouldn't work. All these philosophical musings and grand espionage set to S-tier club music, but damn does it work. The plot of Deus Ex is long, so I won't summarize everything. Just as the world government, or more accurately, the ruling class, represented in part by Bob Page, have created a nanovirus plague called the Grey Death to infect the general world population, while also manufacturing its vaccine, Ambrosia, supply and demand. JC starts the game working for UNATCO, a global police force who's obviously involved. As JC begins to unwrap this conspiracy, his alliances will change as he's thrusted into the role of International Rogue Agent #1. Tangent time. JC is fucking awesome. He's immediately become my favorite RPG protagonist. There aren't many games that let you lay down the law so matter-of-factly.
I know your UNATCO kill phrase. The Putin machine.
I am not a machine.
Sticks and stones.
JC don't take no shit. He's got important business to tend to. But shit, I was have a good time too.
Experiment. I like experiments.
What the fuck is wrong with this guy?
Let's not lose sight of the plot. Remember, all this chemical warfare shit is done in an effort to suppress and control. Again, FEMA death camps brought to their logical conclusion. 3 conclusions, in fact, and they all blow. One of them is just fucking ridiculous, but they all suffer from the same mortal flaw. They're too short. They clock in at a minute or 2 tops. I want to see what consequences my choice had on the rest of the world, but these do very little showing and a whole lot of implying. You either join the Illuminati and guide the world with an invisible hand, merge with a super AI and rule society with an iron fist, or blow up the internet. In Deus Ex, the internet is centralized in Area 51. People who made this are computer science professionals. They know that's not how that works, right? The idea is that by blowing up the internet, humans will regress back to small tribes and villages. Yeah, no more worrying about global conspiracies, huh? What about all those people with the virus? You just gonna let them all die? How does this fix our problem? I'm not even convinced it would be all that traumatic. Your car will still work, your fridge, your lights, trains. Wouldn't it be better to set off a global EMP or something if your goal is to start a new dark age? This is so ridiculously stupid that I love it. Merging with the super AI is kind of like a neutral ending to me, so naturally it's the most boring. JC walks towards the camera, the end. Whereas joining the Illuminati is the best ending. It's the longest and has implications that the world will do nothing but get better as a result. But that's all it's got, implications. JC stands there talking about giving support to those in need. Wouldn't it be nice to see all the homeless people get affordable housing and not action figure men chattering their jaws at each other? So, does Deus Ex still hold up? Yeah, frighteningly so, even in the scrutiny of modern sensibilities. Playing this game today really revealed to me just how much Deus Ex offered to this industry. Like, again, this is a game released in 2000, the same year as Banjo-Tooie. Like, imagine sitting there playing Banjo-Tooie thinking to yourself, damn, This is how far video games have come. And then Ion Storm come on up and flop their proverbial 8-inch long schlong that is Deus Ex. It'd blow your fucking mind. The combat might be a little janky, but part of that's by design. You shoot like an idiot until you level up the skill. I spent the first 8 hours prison shanking guards with a kitchen knife. But after I got my laser sword and maxed unarmed, I was a cyber Jedi god for the next 12 hours. It does a good job on the power fantasy front. The sneaking, level design, resource management, role-playing, 80% of the game are the same quality that they were 20 years ago. And as someone who wasn't even eating solid food at the time, they still had an impact on me. This is a game where NPCs will comment on what you're doing in the world when you talk to them. Come back from a mission and your allies might comment on how well you did, if you shanked everyone or passed by like a ghost.
Heard you were a hero in Hell's Kitchen. A buddy of ours said you saved his ass in Hell's Kitchen.
Who the fuck are you talking about?
There's modern RPGs that can't be fucked to do this. It shows an attention to detail and care that's still worth playing in the modern era. It's $7. I use a Deus Ex Transcendence mod in my playthrough. It allowed me to play in widescreen and fix bugs and stuff. It worked remarkably well. I think I might have crashed once or twice, but it was nothing a restart couldn't fix. So yeah, buy it. Play it. Like my video too, and comment other old games you think stand up to the test of time. I'm gonna get back to opening my third eye. Thanks for watching.